Hey friends. Well, so I've had a couple days of interesting reflections and kind of patterns showing up, and to some extent insights coming through. And the thing that has been, I think, the most striking is that as I get serious about looking at certain projects in my life, and really ultimately it's not just projects, it's goals. Projects in a lot of ways are stepping stones towards goals, or part of processes that are important themes and important domains of my life. As I get connected to those, a bunch of resistance shows up. And that's both kind of humbling and kind of, on the surface of things, at least initially, it feels discouraging. And I know, and I have oodles of experience to teach me that there's A, no need to be discouraged, and B, actually a kind of opportunity arising. If I can shift my perspective, then the discouragement, in the sense of maybe reckoning with not being as far along with something as I'd like to be, or a kind of ambiguity of direction, actually shows up as an incredibly instructive moment, and far from being discouraging, it becomes a really empowering thing. It becomes a really kind of powerfully connecting with something deeper kind of thing. And the way this is manifested is I find myself wrestling with something, and I essentially, it's like, if we're not working on our deep purpose, then it's almost like a kind of veneer starts to cover the surface of our life. There's a sort of like pretty facade that can kind of just almost pass for a while, but it's paper thin and it's not stable. It's just making things seem kind of okay, kind of good, pretty good, acceptable. And engaging with our purpose, engaging with, if that's something we need to break through, if we are actually not in alignment, we need to kind of like go to that next level, then the first step, one of the first steps that happens, is we break that veneer and we go, oh, shit. It's not pretty. It's a mess. And that's never that much fun. That's not our favorite place to be. But I found myself yesterday, I was at my computer and I was doing some writing about, okay, where am I headed? Where's this headed? A couple of big projects that have been on my mind, and I noticed a kind of, as I start to lean into them, I noticed a kind of ambiguity, a sort of like an inner conflict, and I was like, what's that about? What's going on here? And I pretty quickly perceived, oh, this is because I don't really know. There's something in me that's holding on still to possibilities that are mutually exclusive. There's a part of me that doesn't want to let go of some mutually exclusive paths or opportunities. And so really going deep actually feels kind of threatening. Really going deep actually feels like, no, don't make me go there. Don't make me go deep. That means having to really be serious about giving some things up. And again, this is something that intellectually I know this. This is not a new thing. But we're peeling an onion. Layers and layers of this are likely to show up and hopefully fall off as we do the work. But it was just striking to me that initial experience of really going there, really leaning in and getting serious about my purpose gives you a lot of times the first thing that happens is a really kind of yuck moment where the veneer drops. And it's a good sign. It's a really good sign. But it doesn't always feel like a good sign. Sometimes most of the time, that moment is not one where we go, oh yes, finally the veneer that has been keeping my life looking pretty has dropped away. Thank you. If we're wise, that's exactly how we'll construe things. We'll go, yes, thank you. Let's let this drop. Thank God. And very quickly it grounds us. It kind of like because maintaining that facade is exhausting. Whether we're aware of the energy we're spending on it or not, it's an exhausting thing to do, to maintain that facade. So when it drops, even though there's kind of like a holy shit moment or an oh shit moment, it's actually, if we can sort of like stay with it and not recoil, it's actually a moment of also feeling, oh, okay. I don't have to spend time pretending something is pretty that's really not. And then we can kind of actually look at the working surface of our life and get to work, do the work, instead of inventing fictions and reasons and clouds of distraction and stuff so that we can at all costs not have the energy left over, or the attention really, or the focus to actually put it where it needs to go and do the work we need to do because we're so busy doing all this other stuff. Goes away and we're just there. lots of people. Have a great day. Appreciate you. I'll see you soon.